boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. Yep, that's a fact. Yeah, man, it's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening. Why? Because I said so. Episode 161 and counting. As you come in, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel and all that jazz, and even let us know where you're tuning in from. Well, the topic is men don't like easy, boys do. And the word that I left out, um, I'm not going to say what it is right now. I'll say what it is later, right? But what the reason why I came up with this particular topic is because I was listening to Michael Porter Jr., who plays for the Denver Nuggets. He was on the pivot, and he was referring to a question that was asked to him by Channing, I believe. And Channing was asking him, he said, "Isn't it easy to get a lot of women, seeing as though that you are this successful individual?" And he said, yeah, it's easy if what you're looking for is a lot of women to sleep with in all of these different cities that we land in. He said, but as for me, I grew up around my mom and my dad, and I saw my dad be faithful to my mom. And so I'm looking for marriage, and women out here make it really hard to do that. So that sparked my interest. And then when I saw the situation with Jalen Green and the young lady, where she's 39 and he's 22, I wanted to kind of blend those things together. Men don't like it easy, boys do. And we'll talk about it. And we got a dope panel for you this evening. The question that we're going to talk about first is, what's the worst job you've ever had? What's the worst job you ever had? And this person's going to go first simply because he's on time. Mr. Dwayne Jones in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? Beautiful people. Worst job I've ever had. I would have to say I was working at Babies R Us for about, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. Oh, absolutely terrible. It was after actually having a good job, but then they ended up closing down. Then I had to go move over to there, 30 minutes away, around baby stuff. I didn't even like babies back then. Like, I was like, So it was absolutely a worst fit. I was falling asleep. I was supposed to be paying attention to chin to chest.
What was you doing?
I was like a supervisor, and I was supposed to be learning. One more time.
And you falling asleep?
Oh yeah. Man, I'm telling you, it was terrible. It was a worst job I had, and I was probably the worst employee they probably had.
That's funny. Yeah. Appreciate you being here, homie. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna welcome to the stage. She always serious. We're gonna welcome her. Miss Jamie in the building.
I knew you were talking about me when you said that. Like, she's always serious. I knew it. I actually was trying to figure out what my answer would be, because I don't feel like any of my jobs are really bad. Okay. But I would say being a phlebotomist was kind of the worst job I had, because I don't like sick people and I don't like bodily fluids.
Yeah.
But I did that for 8 years, crazily enough. But
you liked the job for 8 years? Well, you liked it, but it was just the worst of the ones you've had. Mm-hmm. How did you get into that?
I went to school to be a medical assistant, and I ended up,
But you don't like fluids?
It was kind of like something to do because I needed like a steady income.
Got you.
Okay. And my mom said nurses and stuff like that always have a job. I didn't necessarily do that because that was what I wanted. Then I became a juvenile court clerk, and that's what I really wanted, was criminal justice.
Oh, that's what's up. Appreciate your work. That's work right there. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna welcome to the stage and we all know him as the Barry White of the internet. Lost in translation in the building. What's good, bro?
What's happening, homie? How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good.
Good. Man. Look, man, the worst job I ever had, man, was working at McDonald's, man. That was McDonald's is probably the only job I've never been a supervisor on. Let me tell you why this job was the worst. They had this thing called the grease trap. Speaking of bodily fluids, that's where all the nasty bits and pieces of grease and greasy hamburger meat and all of that stuff goes in there. And at the end of the night, if you was closing, you would have to clean that out every single night. So when you worked the grill, guess who had to clean it out? And then we had to pour it in a bucket. If it got on the floor, you had to clean the floor. I mean, it was gross, man. It's the worst thing ever. That is probably the worst job I've ever had because I had to clean that out. And it had to be cleaned like from spotless because when the morning crew come in, they don't have time to clean. It has to be spotless when they come in, and we can't leave until it's finished. So that was,
So
you know.
it helped you though?
So what now?
Do you think it helped you at all in your life?
Yeah.
Something so clean.
Yeah, it did, man. It want to make you appreciate what other people do for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for a fact that I know the morning crew appreciated the fact that we had those clean grills that they can go in on. But you know, we didn't get that luxury. You know, we came in and we had everything that was just nasty, man. We just had to get rid of that stuff. So you know how that goes.
That's what's up. Appreciate you being here. And welcome to the stage. She always laid back, and you can tell it in her video. Miss Ash in the building.
Hello. I got
you
to
missed
do what
last week.
Yeah, because your girl was in here tired. Just
You was doing.
By the time I saw 9:30, it was 9:30 the next night. I apologize. But I got to agree with loss of translation, baby. Whataburger broke me. I had to leave. Yeah, I used to do, what was it? First, they train you on the day shift. Then they threw my butt to overnights. I couldn't take it. That's where they really introduced me to old bitter black women. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't take it. I had to get a way out. I ran to Walmart with open arms. Because, baby, working with them, it was like, what's wrong with y'all? Why y'all so miserable? It's laid back except for the weekends. And then y'all don't want to get nobody the weekends out. Oh, no, I got to go. See ya.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate you being here.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
And welcome to the stage, the muscle man of the show, Mr. Prototype in the building. What up?
What's up? What's up? What's up, man?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
Living the dream, man, Prototype done did a little bit of everything. Like I'm literally a man that's done every job you could think of. But the job I hated the most was Dish Network Echo Star tech support. OMG. Yo, talk about slave running shit, right? Let me tell y'all about this. This job is the type of job that gives you a shift from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then give you a Tuesday and a Sunday off, right? To say you got 2 days off per week, right? So like 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like, so you're always sleepy. You never have an opportunity to do anything because it's 2 p.m. that you got to clock in, and it was so strict on the clock, like you 15 minutes, 30-minute lunch, like just strict, like prison. And then the call volume, like soon one beep, like that call beep, and then you hang up, beep, like all day you're pounding that phone for 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? It's basically, it makes you delirious, dog. Like I absolutely hate it. Like you're sitting in a room full of people that you've never spoken to because there's so many calls coming through. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the worst job I've ever had, man. Tech support for Dish Network, man.
I can see that. Appreciate you being here, homie. And welcome to the stage. We got Paradise in the building. What's going on?
Nothing much. Hey, everybody.
What's up, Paradise?
My worst job, I would have to say it was me being in telemarketing for Mercedes-Benz. I think that was like the worst thing ever. I've done sales before in retail, but sitting on the phone trying to, I I didn't stay but 2 paychecks.
Dang. Why did you not like?
Because I'm not going to convince nobody to buy nothing.
Oh,
I don't want people calling my phone to ask me to beg and buy stuff. I'm not going to do it for somebody else. That's crazy.
she would have hated E-Tech, huh, Ash?
Once I
Oh
got
yeah.
through
Oh yeah.
training,
She would have
because
last.
the job description was actually nothing like the training. They were hiring, and I wanted to get into like the call center environment. So I was cool with like getting into the call center environment, but they basically had my class come in as a guinea pig orientation for outbound calls. They wanted to use us as a experiment. And so by the second week of training, which training was a little over a month, when we got on to the floor, I was like, yeah, I found something else to do.
Well, I appreciate
Once I knew training was this, I was like, no, I'm gonna make some adjustments.
you. That's what's up. I appreciate you being here, for sure.
Thank you.
And welcome to the stage, the couple of the year, the common sense couple. What's up, people? Y'all doing all right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. How y'all doing this evening?
Oh,
Good.
good.
Awesome.
The question is, what is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh man. I had this job at this place called Contigo here in St. Louis. And it was basically just a hot box. Like 100 degrees every day inside the building. And I was making Rubbermaid totes, putting the wheels on the bottom of the Rubbermaid trash cans. And it was hell every day. I did that for like, and the thing was they brought us in saying that this was going to be a cool job. Like we're going to make 12 an hour after 2 weeks. It was a temp gig. So the 2 weeks came and they didn't give us the money. We walked out.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, we can't do this no more, man.
That's what's up. What about you, Alicia?
Probably the last job I had, which I was terminated from in 2016, and it was working for, I don't know if I could put them out there like that because it's a big company, but basically it's an office, it's an insurance company, a major insurance company. And I never did the job that I was hired for. So that's why I hated it, along with the office politics. So I was supposed to be a grievance and appeals analyst, but I ended up being a data entry specialist. And it didn't work. So that was my last job.
Was that health insurance?
Mm-hmm.
I figured. I worked in the background of health insurance before too. I did not like it, but it's definitely some mechanics in health insurance that they don't tell you about. So I resonate with what you're saying.
That's what's up. Go ahead. Was you gonna say something, Alicia?
That was it. And then I ended up, going back to beauty industry. So
that's what's up. I would say my the worst job I've ever had was probably working. I had a couple of them, but I would say the worst one was working for Little Caesars because I didn't really get training, but they want me to do a good job. You know what I'm saying? So I think I stayed with that job for maybe a month. I was like 17 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get up out of there. But I've had several different jobs. E-Tech, I mean, if y'all talking about the call center industry, I was in the call center industry for about 5 years. And I would say that it was a bad job, but it also took me around the world. So I got to go to India for 6 months and live there and build that company over there. So, but other than that, I would say that would have been one of my worst jobs for sure.
You trying to say you didn't like dealing with us high school kids? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh no, I said that. That ain't trying. Like the people that I had, I was 25, managing 18 to 22-year-olds, making sure that they get sales, and my bonus was determined by how well they sold. Even yeah, it was rough. Ash was one of my team members. She remember how.
Hey, I was good until y'all embarrassed me by playing that one card. So I'm like, oh, that was you? That card was off the chain. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be doing this too much longer.
I wasn't sure. All right, let's get this started. Okay. The topic is men don't like easy boys do. And the word that I'm gonna ask you to come up with what you think. Men don't like easy what boys do. Men don't like easy what. You fill in the blank.
Very good.
Boys do. Can y'all hear me?
Now we can.
All right. Good. Okay. I'm gonna say it again. Men don't like easy. Fill in the blank. Boys do. All right. And we're gonna start with Lost in Translation. And you choose who goes next, right?
Men don't like easy money, but boys do. Yeah. Because men know for a fact if you get easy money, it's gonna leave, man. It's nothing that you can build on. You know what I mean? Nothing that's duplicatable, nothing that's sustainable. You know what I'm saying? And generally, it's probably illegal too. So, yeah, I would say money. I'm gonna go with Dwayne.
Man, all right. So I was trying to figure out. So is a blank before boys?
Yes.
Oh, weak.
Men don't like easy weak.
Boys.
No.
Come on. So I understand.
That's what you're gonna do. That's fine. But I'm saying men don't like easy, fill in the blank, but boys do.
Oh, okay. Dang. Work. I'm gonna just keep it simple. Easy work.
Okay. You gonna expound or you want to go to somebody next?
No, I'm gonna just keep it simple.
I bet.
Paradise.
Okay.
What you got?
I think money. But all in all, if a man can understand it, he can make it easy. Because in my head, men are opportunists.
Okay, who you got next?
Let's do Jameer. Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie.
It's all good. Like, it's all good. Thank you. But I'm gonna do the controversial one. I'm gonna say men don't like easy women. Boys do. And I mean, I don't have to say anything else. So I'm gonna go with. Oh, did Prototype go yet?
You know you ain't heard Prototype yet.
You ain't disagreed yet.
To be honest, I'm kind of stumped on this one, right? Because I can't really think of anything easy that men don't like. Easy's easy, like, you know what I'm saying? We like easy money. We like easy women. we like we like life easy. You know what I'm saying? We do things the hard way when we have to. But if it could be easy, we're going to do it easy. You know what I'm saying? Unless we could foresee taking the easy route makes it hard later. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But we like things easy. So there's really nothing. Maybe I'm still a boy. I don't know. So we'll go there. But let's go down to the common couple.
All right. Yeah, I would go with easy women. I would say men don't like easy women because it's easy. You know, if there's no challenge, then what is it for? That's the way I look at it.
But Prototype said men like easy things.
I mean, that's his perspective. I mean, all the easy chicks I dealt with, nah, man, I don't. They're not here. So
I don't think it's about them being there though. Like the kill wasn't hard. The idea of getting what you want was executed without force. Like I don't really think that there is nothing men or boys don't like easy because life already difficult enough for y'all. You're men. Nobody gives you empathy. Nobody sits there and, gives you an excuse. So anything you can get easy, you want it.
Interesting take. What you got on it, Alicia?
I don't think anything that comes easy is really worth having in the long run. So I guess the question would kind of maybe the way that you wording the question is what separates the men from the boys. So it would be perspective based. I don't know. I could say that men don't like easy women, but some do. Or money, some do. So,
Okay. So with that being said, so Prototype says that men like easy women, but I think somebody else said that men don't like easy women. So before I get to the next topic, let's talk about that. So why would you say that men don't like easy women?
Doorknob situation. Everybody done had a turn. I mean, do you really want that going around the family function? I'm just putting it out there. It's a question and a statement. You know, to me, it's like it's fun at nighttime, but sometimes you gotta let the night activities stay at night.
I mean, my answer to that would be every woman is easy to some man. You know what I'm saying? So at some point she was easy to you or another dude. And if you found out she was easier for another dude than she was for you, now you don't like her. You know what I'm saying? So every woman was easy at some point for somebody.
We're gonna come to that one. Yeah. What you got? You smiling, bro. What's on your thought?
it's just the whole. I mean, yeah, at some point, but like I say, it depends. Like as a man, as you grow, do you still want the easiness of everything with no challenge in life? There's no challenges because that's what forges that produces how great you're going to be. The tension, the resistance. If there's no resistance to anything, then what are you becoming?
Well, I would answer to that. There is resistance to things, right? Naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like from how I was forged, there was resistance in winning championships. Like there was resistance in, doing stupid stuff and getting in trouble. There's plenty of resistance in the world, like Paradise said, that help forge you. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to women, like I said, it's just a situation where, or anything, right? If you found out somebody else is getting paid more than you with less credentials, you feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. Like, and for me, it makes me bitter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I found out you was easier for another dude, I'm going to try to run you through the ringer now. Now you got to earn. I'm gonna make you earn a bunch more. I'm gonna pull way back. Like, what? You let him hit it in a week, and I had to wait a month. Hell no. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just one of them kind of dudes. I don't think no dude is better than me. So like, if I couldn't do it and somebody else pulled it off before I did, no, we got a problem. I ain't gonna let you know, but I'm instantly going to start putting you through a ringer. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is for me. Like,
I know we talking about men and boys, but I would say like even just from a person coming from poverty, like you get satisfaction out of overcoming adversity. There is a pot of gold at the end of the road. When you keep seeing that multiple times, yes, it's satisfactory, right? But in reality, as a person who came from the struggle, if I never had that struggle, I feel like even with the core values and stuff that I still had, I would still be just as deserving. I don't feel like I deserve things because I had to work hard to get them. no, I deserve them because they were already supposed to be in my path in the first place. So now I'm sitting amongst men and women who make salaries just as much or more than me, and I don't feel out of place at all. And I'm in arenas of men and women that make just as much or even more than me, and their moral compass is nothing like mine. Their principles are nothing like mine. As a person, as an individual, I feel better than them. But yeah, it's kind of like one of them things where the underdog finished last. Don't nobody want to keep struggling, bro. I don't care if you is a man. Like that's not that's not good. Like that's the reason why y'all take the direction to say, you know what, I done invested in the 50 hoes. Let me go ahead and find number 52 and make her my wife. Because this don't feel good constantly taking my money that I go work hard for in my time, giving it to a woman who's unappreciative. This don't feel good constantly saying I gotta get up every day, go bust my butt, and it's always somebody else who is an extension of me who need it just as much as I do, and they don't consider me. Like it's hard, and nobody wants to do hard. There is nothing in life that I want hard.
Dwayne, you had something you wanted to say?
No, I was just going. That Christmas party would be rough. Boy, your neck gonna be hurting.
Shout out to
where she go? Where she go? That's the 5th time she went and got punched.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That Christmas party would be something for sure. Alicia, you had something? I see you raise your hand.
I think. Did you?
I don't understand that comment. What you mean the Christmas party is going to be rough?
If your woman easy, right, and you're taking her to the Christmas party, ain't you next best option, ain't you?
No, I'm always the best option.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Women are loyal to the best option. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the next best option. I am the best option. So if I'm the best option, you know, regardless of what and who she been with before, she know that he ain't better than me. And if she think another dude better than me, go ahead and jump over. I'm good. So
yeah, but that's the ones that are easy. Where
that's all of them.
So no, I don't.
That's all of them.
Never mind. That's Uncle Ricky. Nobody on the panel. But if that is the case, right? We are then saying, from our wife's perspective, like we are the best option, right? But whenever they're real easy, the next person is the next best option, and that's up based on their moral compass. So if their moral compass is jacked and they're just jumping from lily pad to lily pad to lily pad, then that's finding their next best option. Because I don't think there's loyalty in easy.
Their moral compass is jacked. How about that? Except the fact that their moral compass is jacked. Somebody just in the comments said, "Oh, it's her growth. Maybe she's grown." That's because she didn't have a moral compass to begin with. You know what I'm saying? They have to grow into a moral compass. So about time they grow into that moral compass, man, that thing is kicked down. That can been kicked down the road. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is from there.
It's a good conversation. It's a framework of where I'm trying to get to. Anthony, did you have something? Okay. I want to know what do you think? I believe that there is like on this show, I believe that everybody has a part to play in making relationships get better, right? And when I'm having conversations with the space I'm in education, so I'm always around women, right? And so I talk to them, and they have their complaints. So my question is, and some of them are legitimate, some of them I don't understand why it is one, but however it is how they feel. So my question for the panel is, what is a legitimate complaint women have about men? What is a legitimate complaint women have about men? And we'll start with you, Jamie. Why I can't start with you, Jamie? You need some more think time, Jamie?
Yes, I need some more think. Like, come on. Like, why would you do that? Well, I gotta start. I don't.
Okay. Because this is what happens as a teacher. If I let you not go first, that's what the other people will think, that they can do the exact same thing. But I'll give you a moment of time. I'm gonna na 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 na. No, 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 no. There you go. I even screwed it down at the end for you.
Oh my.
A legitimate complaint that women have about men. We're talking about general complaint, right?
Yes.
That they cheat. Is this in marriage or relationships, or what are we talking about?
Listen, however you want, you can say in relationships, I see it as this. In non-relation, I'm sorry, in marriage, I see it as this. In relationships, I see it as this. It's up to you, however you want to take it.
Okay, so in relationships, I would say that they cheat. And then in non-relationships, that they get too comfortable. As far as like don't date each other still, or just get used to the person, complacent in marriage.
So
And that's
you're
all.
saying, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna ask?
I was saying, so you're saying that in a marriage, the man is getting complacent, or you saying in relationships in general, men get complacent, so that's a valid complaint. And then in a non-relationship where they're just dating, I guess, you would say the complaint would be what?
That they cheat.
That they
Or,
cheat.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Did you want to expound upon that, or you want to pass the mic?
I'll pass the mic to Ash.
And why you gotta choose me next? But anyway, had some think time. I would say a failure to communicate. There you go. I that's the only thing that I found that's legitimate with being in a relationship and out of a relationship and trying to start one is everybody's not communicating in the correct way to that person. I'm gonna say to that person's skill set. I'm not gonna say just an overall failure to talk to, because everybody can talk to, but not at. No, talk at and not to.
So what does it look like for the guy to be having good communication?
It's a trust issue. It's that trust with that particular woman, because some women haven't earned that ability to be in that spot. Because like you could say, you do your little test or whatever. You tell them something, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna see if she bring this back up when we argue. Maybe you start like a little small argument to see where it go, and she bring it up, or she bring it up trying to be funny, but it was something that hit you that wasn't funny. It was a serious thing that you felt violated, or it had some emotional behind it that ain't been unpacked, but that needs to be unpacked. But she's not thinking of it that way. She's using it, filing away for like ammunition, like I like to say, mad day, you know. And I'm gonna go with lost in translation.
I think a legitimate concern for women is that sometimes men take women for granted, man. You know, they expect women to be black girl magic all the time. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Sometimes it's like the other day, humble dad, when you talked about when your wife, you know, came up with the orange chicken for you, man. You know, you didn't ask her to do it, but she still did it. But here's the thing, you thanked her for it though. You know, and there's so many times where women do things for men that they don't get congratulated for. They don't get thanked for, you know. And I think that's universal, to be honest, because I think sometimes people do take people for granted. They don't say thank you enough. So I think that's a legitimate complaint that women have, that they're taken for granted. And I'm gonna go with Paradise for this next one.
I think a valid complaint that women have about men today is they're not dependable. And I think the dependability should be predicated on their attraction to women, because in the way that I grew up, there was a sense of community, despite what a woman's behavior was, that never defined his manhood. If he was going to come by and cut the grass, he was going to come by and cut the grass. If he was going to help take out your trash, he was going to help take out your trash. If he was going to help bring groceries in the house, or if he was going to help loan money, or whatever the case may be, if he was going to be a mentor in the community, it was never predicated around the woman's actions. It was predicated because that was the role of the man, and he never used women to justify his lack thereof.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Mr. Dwayne Jones.
Legitimate complaint would be that we don't listen. We don't listen, and they might got a point. They might have a point.
Is that including yourself?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because there's never anybody on the panel.
That's why. That's why. Okay, we'll keep.
You know, fun fact is they discovered a lot of the other divorces are because men intuitively are trained to tune out women's actual opinions. It is not because of like sex and infidelity and stuff like that. Like majority of the women, it's a new study, and you guys can go look it up. I just seen it. I wish I remember where I seen it at. But the reason as to why more divorces are increasing is because men are intuitively trained to tune out women's opinions. It's not conscious. It's not something you guys do it consciously, but y'all don't care about what we think.
It's feelings. I say it's the feelings piece of it.
No, it's not the feelings. It's literally our point of view. So when women are talking, or when we what the ladies were saying was like their input about what the study was it was breaking down, of course, the key things that everybody has issues with: money, house chores, the children, and it was two more key things. I can't remember those other key things, but those three, of course. And it's basically like y'all don't intentionally like not listen to us. It's just something inherent. So when we say we tired of repeating ourselves, this, that, and the third, I told you this, that could go into the communication factor, but like it's a thing where y'all are literally trained just to listen to us. So when they asked the husbands about it, it was like, well, what did you do to try to save your marriage? And at the end, it was like, well, I tried to listen more. I tried to do this, but it was already too late because she was already tired of repeating herself.
Dwayne, what you got? So you agreeing with the study?
No, well, I just think it's a large part of it has to do with that inherent is the feelings translation.
Oh, like he's not listening.
Yeah, well, what like she said, listening to their opinions, we would consider feelings an opinion.
No, you don't. Because my input about what should be done in a situation in a house isn't predicated around an opinion. If I'm saying I spend the most time with the children and this would be best for the children based off of me spending the most time, that's not an opinion. That's an analyzation. Like that's an analyzation of what would be the best for them.
See, and I can agree with that. There's those things, but whenever you get down to what I've noticed is that the men do the thinking piece of it. Oh, we think, right? And then y'all go with we feel. And sometimes there's a lost in translation. It gets crossed, right? So from that training, we are not really as suppressing emotions and suppressing feelings from the man's standpoint. That's an inherent thing, right? So whenever we take that into marriage, and then you're listening to your wife talk feelings, and even there are the cases in which you're talking about, well, you're not with the kids and all this, and then there are those. But then whenever you get down to the feelings, that vulnerability piece of it, that's where I see we can have a disconnect based upon our upbringing, based upon our societal norms, where that is the innate piece of it. So whenever y'all try to share with us your emotions, that in itself is something that we don't handle well. Right. So we have to be trained as for the fragile thing that's on the box, right? Handle with care. Like in that, we sometimes don't handle ourselves with care. We sometimes don't handle our friends with care. Right. But as for females, y'all go about it much different than we do.
Now so I understand what you're talking about. I get what you're saying now. You're basically saying it's not that you guys aren't considering us. It's just more times often than not, some of the places where we speaking from is emotional. And a lot of times that could be irrational for the situation. So innately, you guys are tuning it out. That makes sense because, like I said, from what I've seen in the study, it wasn't a blame game. It was just more so of an analyzation of what we're seeing now, because more women are now becoming educated. So with educated women, of course, you have them having more input. as far as what's going on in the individualistic society. So it definitely makes a huge difference. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I will clarify though as well. It's the learning piece is learning together. So in that is learning to, about how to be able to communicate with each other, and in that where there is that miscommunication, that's where a lot of conflicts then happen. So it is imperative for both of them to then start to learn each other, to compromise in that area, to actually understand, because most of us want to get our point across and not be willing to understand the other party. And I think once one person out of that relationship becomes unwilling, that's where it does dissolve. But once both of them are willing to learn about, what the ticks are, and that the person that you are engaging in a relationship with is not perfect, then that's how you're going to have to really start listening and serving, like we talked about the other week. It's about serving. So my 2 cents.
That's what's up. I seen Lost in Translation. You were shaking your head.
Yeah.
And then come back.
No. Let me explain to you what we just saw here. Paradise said that sometimes men don't listen. Men listen differently. I'm going to tell you what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We listen for the problem, and we listen for what you want us to do, because everything else is manipulation. And we learn how to filter that part out. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're looking for the verb, and we're looking for the noun. What is it that you want us to fix, and what is it that you want to do? Everything else is manipulation, because that's how women communicate to men, because they can't physically force us to do anything. So what they do is they try to use manipulation, shame, insults, guilt for us to be moved. But here's the thing: what happens is we don't operate that well, because that to us that feels like confrontation, and it actually shuts men down. When men hear confrontation, they hunker down and they say, you know what? I hear what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because it's like you said, I've been with the kids all day. That's a form of shame. You know what I mean? Here's the thing: who's to say that we don't want to talk to our kids? I want to see what's going on with the kids all day. I want to know how their day is. But when you come at us as if I've been doing this, as if we don't want to, then that's forcing us into a position where it says that we're not good fathers. And when you accuse men of not being good fathers, then that's confrontational. So that's the main reason why men listen differently than women do, because at that particular point in time, it's a confrontational thing. So what we try to do is we try to manage your feelings and emotions by saying yeah and but we're actually listening for the action and the verb, and that's it. We don't want to listen to the other stuff.
Hey, before you go, Paris, let me get Alicia in on this particular thought process. What you got, Alicia? What you got?
I was gonna say men's willingness to be vulnerable and transparent, I think sometimes can be a complaint for women.
Why would that be? Why would a woman want a guy to be vulnerable and transparent? What would be important about that?
Because the more vulnerable man and woman, the more you get to know and the closer that you can get. And I think men might have more of a fear of that, or can sometimes put a wall up and not allow women to get too close. So it depends on the situation, but I think that has been a legitimate complaint.
Okay, that's what's up. Then I'm gonna come back to you, Paradise. What you wanted to respond to what Lost said? Are you good?
Oh yeah, I can respond, but I can wait.
Okay, cool. Hey, who would you like to go next, Alicia?
My husband can go next.
Let me see.
You go. Do you like saying that?
My husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just check it. Go ahead.
I would say a legitimate complaint that women may have about men is they don't. I don't know.
You feel like they don't have a legitimate one. That's what.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never have a complaint.
What you saying? That's hilarious.
Man.
So okay, so you basically saying that men are perfect.
No, I mean, we're not perfect, but at the same time, like to go back to the conversation that was just taking place, I think it's a lot of logic that men come with. You know, we're based in logic. So I think that as far as the communication or being ignored or tuned out comes from the logical part of men. It's like, okay, what does this conversation really mean? What is the meaning of it? I will listen to you if there's something meaningful to listen to that we can take and move forward. What is this plan of action? Like Lost was saying, what are we doing here? Versus you just spewing out your gripes about the situation. Okay, how can we come together and make this a thing that we can both rock with? Versus it does come off like the blame game. Because if you take that study that Paradise was talking about, because she said men intuitively just tune women out and divorces are going up because of that. So you're going to divorce a man for something that he doesn't know he's doing naturally. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So it's like, all right, so we need to.
But I would say, let me add this. Based on what you're saying, I see what you're saying, but the woman doesn't know that he's doing it intuitively. She
Y'all both
is,
my point.
huh?
They both just proved my point.
Did I prove your point?
No, they did. You just
Okay,
suspect.
because you felt like they weren't listening.
Well, no, I didn't feel like that they weren't listening. I
Okay.
know that they were listening to me. They regurgitated what I said, but they proved my point by telling me why they do something, as opposed to just saying, you know what? I never thought about it that way. So they justified why they're tuning women out off the basis of, well, I think logically. And so maybe what you're saying is not of substance. And that was the issue. So you're justifying why you're doing it, even though it just came to your mind like, oh, well, I didn't even know we did that. So now you didn't even know. I just made you aware that this is something that's going on, but you found a way to spin it back to say, well, she's the problem because she left me for doing something that I just do naturally.
No, I mean it's not naturally. It's just if he's unknowingly doing it, then how can it be?
No.
Exactly.
If you don't know, how does she know?
Exactly. But you said the divorces are going up.
But you just justified what you were doing. You said, hey, you're not talking to me about something of substance, so I'm tuning you out. And what you're doing is, in Lost in Translation did it too. You're dismissive of that woman's feelings. You're not only dismissive of her feelings, you're dismissive of her point of view. The whole purpose of the divorces, aside from infidelity and finances now, is because men are discounting the women's point of view. But y'all just did it right here. You just basically told me, well, I can discount your point of view because you ain't talking to me in logic.
No, not really. Go ahead, Dwayne. I'm sorry.
No. Please finish your point. Finish your point.
It's like how's that? It's still if no one's knowing, if we both blind to the situation, then how is it a situation to where we need to break up and split up if we're both blind to it?
Because you continuously do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, even when I just made you privy of it, I just told you, right, this is what the situation is. You and Lost in Translation both came and said, well, we looking for the solution within the problem you telling us. So all the extra word salad, I don't really care about it. It don't even matter. We looking for the solution in the problem. That's dismissiveness. And then you double back and you said, hey, I'm trying to figure out like the logic in the situation. Finding logic in something, even though this is something you're doing innately, once you recognize, hey, this is what men do innately, you justify doing it. You justify being dismissive towards the woman.
Yeah, would have been a better. I see where she's at, right? What she's saying is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
How for sure. How women see things. How women see things is that they want you to validate their statement, right? So they want to be heard in the part of the union. They want to feel that you are able to take what it is that they have said and use it to the best of you of the relationship. Even if you do not go with what it is that she's saying, she wants to know that you have considered what it is that she has said in order to make your decision. So although we are speaking logically to them or looking for the logic, we still, especially as if you're saying you know anything about being a husband, you have to lean into the compassionate side of yourself, the feminine, if I
Yeah.
can say the feminine side of you, right? Because I'm aware of what, because I'm a what's it? I don't want to say victim, but I'm gonna say that I am. Uh, I do that too, where I'm looking for where can I hear you and then solve the problem, right? Because the emotion really does it. It should matter to me, but it doesn't matter to me if I have to solve the problem first, right? Because the emotion, if I'm consoling you and then I'm like, okay, which one did, okay, let me make sure I validate what you're saying first, right? But I still need to do that, right? I need to say, babe, I hear and I see that this is something that is very challenging for you, or that you're going through something, or this is making you feel some type of way. Would you like for me to give you a moment? Would you like for me to give you my words? Would you like for me to come up with a plan? You want me to just listen? And
Inclusivity, like making her feel like she's a partner. I don't want to be dismissive of the fact that, hey, men think logically. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is innately it has become a thing where now that women are getting more involved in society, now that we know how to make decisions on our own, they're still a part of that decision making, that even if you don't decide to go with my thought process, you have received and you've acknowledged this is what she said to do. So you may not completely want to do what I think to do it all, right? It don't matter what it is. We can be talking about vacation. We can be talking about me changing jobs. We can be talking about you moving careers. As long as I gave my input and you acknowledge like my woman has some form of care and concern here, and then you move forward with whatever it is you felt comfortable doing, that's perfectly fine. But what you're seeing is kind of what the same thing you guys did. Like innately, you were like, fuck what she talking about. That's cool, but we looking for the logic in the situation. You weren't trying to be dismissive of me, but you did it.
I mean, it depends on the situation as well, though. I mean, it's not a 100% thing. If the house is on fire, we gonna talk about it. We getting out the house. We getting the hell out the house. Come on, we got to go. Or oh no, I think we should go down the stairs and then go up the elevator. No, we getting the hell about this house. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? That's to that aspect, you know. But yeah, you do have to be a good leader. You have to listen. You have to be a great listener to take in the information. Yes, you do. You can't dismiss everything. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, if it's something going on in the home, all right, look, let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. We can do that. But for the most part, if it's some real shit going down, then we not discussing nothing. We going get these bags. We got to get the hell out of here. That's all. That's where I was going with it.
that makes sense. Hey, Proto, come on in. What you got?
They really don't have any legitimate complaints, to be honest. So I mean, Lost kind of hit it on the nail when he said, you know, the manipulation. I use your emotions to manipulate. You know what I mean? So it's having that trust that we can trust you with whatever information you're giving us, and that's hard to do because y'all manipulate so much. You know what I mean? So, as far as you bringing us something, and you know, just like you said, we gotta get out the house. We gotta get out the house, and you know, and you're talking about the dog. You know, the dog could fry. Like we're not thinking about the dog. My kids, and you know, the priorities matter. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like the analogy that I like to use that men are companies. You know what I'm saying? Where your management is going to be like, hey, we need a better appeal around, you know, to make the office look better so we can work a little hard. And you're worried about making new business, doing this, doing that, you know what I'm saying, from your perspective or from that point of view. And like, yes, you want to get to that, but that's really not that important. you know, eventually we will get there. Let me get some other stuff in order. So it's like we're open for the dialogue, but you guys don't y'all don't engage. I think women just give up in trying to communicate, and oh, he didn't hear me, and y'all shut down like, yeah, he doesn't listen. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily the case. We're trying to have an open conversation about it, but just because we don't agree right away, y'all instantly think that we're being dismissive to y'all, and that's not necessarily the case. We're trying to have a conversation, and we're going to, you know, you're going to say you're concerned about this, and we're going to come back with well, maybe this is wrong, right? We're all trying to, it's a negotiation, you know what I'm saying? And you guys are so like, he's too headstrong, he's not going to listen to me. But it's kind of just like somebody changed, Humble Dad was surprised when Jamie changed my mind. But in that, right, that was one of those things where I was just like, yo, like that actually kind of makes sense. And a negotiation in my head was going on to where generally everybody would think I would never change my mind on any stance I've put out. But Jamie, you know, presented a case, and I was just like, hey, that kind of makes sense. So y'all got to stop giving up and stop getting emotional just because we have a little pushback. Because we're having pushback, it's kind of like we're trying to still man the conversation. You know what I mean? We're trying to build it up so we can make the best decision. And you guys are just saying, "Oh, my emotions." Well, you're not listening to my emotions. You just want to feel. We're like, feel you. No, we're trying to get to the bottom of this thing so everybody can be happy. We're looking for win-win situations.
That's a phenomenal point.
No, it wouldn't.
It was. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yes,
Just
it was.
I'm gonna tell you why why it was a dope point is because it takes two to have a conversation, right? So if women want a man to be emotionally intelligent when we are listening and talking to you, you also have to have the same uh, reception. It has to be reciprocal. So what it is that um, that women, not all, right, but most women have a hard time in I guess combative conversations with men, right? Because when we talk and we get to a particular tone, now it's about the tone. It's not about what I'm saying, right? So that means that y'all have a hard time hearing what we're saying just because of how harsh we said it, right? And so if you all want us to be solid in the negotiation period, as far as like, because I said I agree with you that we need to have a compassion when we're talking to you. I said that, right? But I'm also saying that in the same conversation, you all need to be able to hold down a challenging conversation. Just because you don't like having the word, you don't like having, it's going to be a long conversation. Like we're going round in circles, yeah, but we ain't got no answers. You know what I'm saying? So we need to, there are some conversations that need to be had, even though we're going around in circles, because the goal of a leader is to get the outcome to be productive for both of us, right? And for the family. But oftentimes, and I told you I had these conversations with women all the time, that because even if I'm making an invalid point, right? Even if my point don't make sense, now what happens is there's an interruption, which you just did, right? There's an interruption, and then there is a dismissiveness that you all do, but y'all don't want us to do that to y'all, right? And I am agreeing that neither one should dismiss the other. We both should be able to communicate our thoughts, and we need to come to a resolution regardless of how long the conversation is, unless it's a point of where we're arguing and we are now coming to a point of we're disrespectful to one another. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead. You
The
can
whole
respond.
premise of what he said was women don't have valid complaints because women have emotions. That was the whole thing summed up. Women have emotions, and when we get into different types of confrontation with men, we tune out what they're saying because we're more emphasized on what we think based off of our feelings as opposed to what the actual problem is, which is what he wants to get to. So when everybody's listed valid complaints or what would be deemed valid complaints, right? Because as far as the cheating thing, I think that could be like a definite, thorough conversation. You can't walk into a relationship with a man who you know is entertaining multiple women and then be surprised he cheats. You can't. But there are some women who are told this is the verbal agreement that we have. We're entering a monogamous union. I want to only be with you, and I don't want to have any type of extracurricular activity outside of you with another individual, that would be a valid point for cheating. But to say, hey, women don't have any valid complaints about anything that they experience with men because of their emotional intelligence or lack thereof, that's a wild statement.
I got you.
Humble that, if I may, sir.
Absolutely.
Before we move the goalpost, I want to address what I said earlier. I said that men selectively listen. And normally, I've had this conversation with women plenty of times. You know what I normally ask them? Is this a conversation where you need me to listen? Or is this a conversation you need me to fix something? My time is valuable. And I'm pretty sure your time is valuable too. So if you need me to listen, I'm all ears. Tell me what's on your mind. And that's it. I'm going to listen. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to fix nothing. I'm not going to offer to fix nothing. But in the event that you need me to fix something, I need to know exactly what it is and how soon you need to have it fixed, because time is of the essence. And that's normally how I handle that. But normally what happens is people like to use manipulation, like was stated earlier, shame, insults, guilt, you know what I mean, to get people to move. Because I know what it's like for people to manipulate you into something, but I also know what it's like when somebody motivates you and they use kind words, you know what I mean? And they inspire you to do the things that you normally wouldn't do with kind words. So whenever people don't use their tools correctly, to a person who's not used to that, they're not easily motivated to do what you need them to do, especially if you're using the wrong tool. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't need a hammer to fix. Sometimes you need a screwdriver. You see what I'm saying? And I think what happens is people like to use what they normally use on people instead of using something that's the tool that's needed for that particular job. You don't need to tell your husband, hey, you don't never take out the trash. What you could say is, you know what? I love it when you take out the trash when I don't tell you. It is so sexy. It leads me to believe that you're a leader in my household, and I trust the leader in my household. See, that moves things a little bit differently versus you always take it. You don't never take out the trash when I tell you to. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times we have to use our heads a little bit instead of using something that we're used to. Use something a little different, you know, spice it up a little bit, you know? Those are the things that we talk about that we have to make sure that we're aware of, because all men are not used to being handled roughly. You know what I'm saying? Some men are actually used to good treatment. You know, they're used to being handled with care. So when you do meet them with shame and insults and guilt and the need to be right, it creates an adversarial situation where there shouldn't be one. And a man should not feel on the opposing side of his woman. He wants to be by her side. He wants them to be together, to move in a single direction. But the weapon that you choose to use, or the kindness that you choose to use your words, makes a big difference. Even the Bible says that. It says that a good woman builds up her home, but a foolish woman tears her home down with her words. So that's the reason why I say we have to make sure that we listen with the intent to serve. That's the reason why I always ask the question, is this a conversation that I need to do something? Or is this a conversation where I need to listen? Let me know, and I'll do whatever it is I'm here to serve. That's exactly how you handle that.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Listen with the intent to serve. What's up, Jay Zilla in the building?
Hey, what's up, man? I'll come up,
You feel me?
Yeah, what I missed?
Everything, bro.
I see.
Everything. So the question that we currently have, though, is what's a legitimate complaint women have about men? That's what's on the docket.
If I go by my experience, it's usually something that I'm complaining about, and then my wife sees me kind of lacking as far as pursuing my goals and improvement. And you know, she's very good at communicating, like lost in translation, and from the little bit that I heard, she's very gentle. She kind of rubs my forearm and like, hey, I thought you wanted to quit smoking. And it's like, yeah, just I know. You know what I mean? So for me, those types of things are legitimate. Is there something that's hurting me physically, mentally, or spiritually? Something that I've expressed that I need to get rid of, and then I drag my feet in doing so, and vice versa. We talked about before, her and her weight. You know, I don't care. Like I'm happy but she just kept complaining about it. I was like, look, man, you want to do something about it or not? Right? And she did, and so now we're on this weight loss journey together. So, hope that
yeah, that's a different way for sure. That's what's up. So the legit, when you're saying legitimate, you're receiving it from the position of if she's trying to make me better, then whatever she says is a legitimate complaint.
Us, ourselves, kid, household, community, whatever.
That's what's up. That's a different take than everybody else had. So that's really dope that you came in and said that. And I would agree with that. I think we had a conversation about this before, about how men and women take criticism, right? So how would you communicate to her? Because you said if you have something that you don't like about her, because what you said was something she already confirmed in herself. But if there was something that you saw, how would you communicate your complaint to her?
I must talk about it from the point of view from my children first. My children, they have at their disposal, they can come to us and say, hey, I need some amnesty. It's like, all right, and we decide whether or not, we want to give them amnesty before we find out what's going on. But it is that once we make the decision to say, okay, you can't get in trouble, just tell me what's going on, then we have to honor that afterwards. So I kind of had that same approach with my wife and saying, hey, kind of want to talk to you about something, maybe offensive. I feel the spirit moving me to tell you. So, prepare yourself however you can, and not just lay it out there. And I have to trust that she's going to take it. If she's not ready to receive it, she's going to take some time and fast and pray, but she does so quietly and gently. And then we come back and discuss it at a later time. Or we can hash it out right there, as long as it's done respectfully. So that's kind of been our agreed upon way of approaching those things.
That's what's up. I appreciate that. So at this time, I want y'all to tell me, where can people, before we get into the next conversation, tell people where they can find you. And before that, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel, and Prototype on you. Where can they find you?
Man, you can find me every Tuesday. You can find me here on Mondays, but Tuesdays at 9, Prototype Kingdom. We're everywhere, man. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. So yeah, check us out.
Hash on you.
You can find me on the IG, the Instagram, or you can find me here at home when I am awoke and ready to argue. 360.diva. Keep coming, keep liking, keep sharing, give us topics, bring it out here, let us discuss.
That's a bet. Lost in Translation.
Thank you. You can find me here on Mondays on Humble Edge on podcast. Also, you can find me on Lost in Translation podcast, and also on the Black Man Unfiltered Network as well. And also I'm on Instagram and now TikTok as well too.
That's what's up, Dwayne.
Yeah, Monday nights here with HD. Enjoying some good conversation. Then you can find me at DwayneJonesPhotography.com.
Jay Zilla.
Yes, sir. You can find me on the Urban Academia podcast, the What the Rap podcast, and soon to be coming the Redeemed Life podcast. But all that and more, you can find at our website at studiogwb.com.
That's what's up, Jamie.
Well, I guess you could find me here on Mondays, right? And then you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Jamie Radiance Moorhead 7 every day, because I'm your favorite Christian life coach, so
that's what's up. Hey, we're not supposed to be over. You interviewing me when? I forgot the day.
This Friday.
This Friday? Okay.
At 6:30.
I'm glad you reminded me. All right.
Yeah.
And then Jay Zilla, me and you are in April, is it?
April, way on down the road. Yes, sir.
So I don't have to remember to then. That's what's up. Hey, Common Sense Couple, what y'all got? Where can we find you?
You can find us here every second Monday, and Instagram at the Common Sense Couple, Facebook Common Sense Couple, and TikTok Common Sense Couple. Know them.
So appreciate you. And Paradise, flooding the internet.
Instagram and Facebook, Paradise Paris. TikTok is going to be _Paradise Paris. Twitter is going to be _Paradise Paris 1. My YouTube handle is _Paradise Paris, but my channel is just Landed in Paris. And of course, for all business inquiries, contact.paradiseparis.com.
That's a bet.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Well, I appreciate y'all always for giving us some time to have these poignant conversations. They're not just for conversations; it's actually to make change and headway in relationships, and more importantly, to me, my perspective, marriages, for them to be healthy and successful. With that being said, this is I'm having this conversation a lot. Maybe y'all have too. Now, I know the overall theme of tonight is like men don't like easy boys to do, but this is a topic about sex. Okay, so I wanted to ask the question because whenever I talk to women about, I think Kevin Samuels or somebody else may have kind of coined it that women have control access to sex, and men control access to marriages, right? And so when I'm talking to women, they always say, well, the man should be able to say no. That's what they say, right? But if they control access to sex, why do women put out and then blame men? I'm just curious to know.
Because they didn't get the results that they wanted. Oh, my bad.
You jumping off the top, bro. Okay, Kevin Von Erich.
And that's something I can think about. That's something I can think of. They didn't get the results that they wanted. And I'm going to just leave it right there because it can go a lot of ways with that. They didn't get a call back. It was horrible, dry, whatever. It just didn't go right. Like it didn't lead to a second date, or it didn't transpire how she thought it would go. Because some people lead with sex like men lead with money and think that it's supposed to open up all these doors. But like Prototype said, once you got it, you got it. And if it's if somebody else got it easier than I did, I don't want you no more. Bygones be bygones. Holla at you. So that's why I say it's the outcome wasn't what she wanted. Now it's egg on her face. She got to walk around. What's it? The embarrassment that you got to walk out with the same clothes on you had on yesterday, whatever that is. The walk of shame. That's what it's called. Yeah, you got to do the walk of shame.
Who you got going next?
We're gonna go with Jamie. I got it right this time.
I guess we need to define the type of woman that you're talking about. You said, why do women put out and then blame men? And I mean, I don't see that all women blame men for not. Some women go in knowing that he's not going to talk to her. Sometimes there's a clear understanding. So are we talking about women that go in with the manipulative intent? If I give him some, he's going to make this into a relationship, women? Or who are we talking about? Because there's categories to the situation.
For sure. How I do it on the show is I ask the question, you give the context. So however you want to put it, it's on you.
Why do women put out and blame men? Because the truth is, and I would say this across the board, whether it is a woman that goes in saying, I just want sex, or this, when a woman lays down with a man, eventually she develops feelings and she wants more. Women are innately not able to have multiple sex partners and not develop attachment to somebody. And that's just what it is. So you blame men because they don't want to take the responsibility for saying, maybe I laid down prematurely with somebody I don't know, with the expectations that my stuff was so good that he'd stay.
Gotcha. Who you got next?
Let's go with Dwayne. Because he was smiling like that.
Because they don't want to take responsibility. That's why you typically do that. And, do you blame the scammer for scamming you? Right? You get that you find out that damn Nigerian prince wasn't really who he said he was, right? You mad at the Nigerian prince or you mad at yourself? You mad? Chances are. So my bad. Yeah, that's how I look. They gotta blame. You got to blame somebody. Somebody's gotta. There's a victim, and you a victim to the being sold the dream. So that's why I say that. Because if you're gonna market, right? If you're gonna give free samples, and they come up there and snag a sample and then just walk on off and don't buy the product, you can't get mad at them, right? My bad.
Costco.
That's what I'm saying. Like straight up walking through Sam's, boy, just came in on a hungry stomach, boy, left full. Didn't have to pay nothing.
Who you got, bro?
Oh man, Lost. Let's see what you got.
The reason why women get mad at men when they put out because that's all they had to offer, and that it didn't keep them. Yeah, I'm from an age where women used to say a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That was a generation of women who used to cook. So if they cook for a man, they still get to keep their dignity if they didn't sleep with him. But nowadays, women don't know how to cook. They'll tell you that straight up. So their best shot is sex. And when that don't work, then they get mad at the man. It's like, why this didn't work? Because you use the standard issue equipment that every woman has. You know what I'm saying? Every woman has what you have, but every woman doesn't know how to cook. Every woman doesn't know how to clean. Every woman doesn't know how to nurture. Every woman doesn't know how to make a bankroll. You know what I'm saying? Every woman doesn't know how to talk to you well. My thing is that if sex is your only weapon that you have to use and you use it on him, he just throw it away, that's on you. That's really on you. It's not on the men. Now, here's the thing. What you going to do if he turn that down? Then what you got? Absolutely nothing. Prototype is on you.
It's like I tell men, it's like I say, like men with money, right? Men splurge money because they're trying to get something they don't deserve. Same with women, right? They put out early because they're trying to get something they don't deserve. You know what I mean? So to really get a person, it takes time, affection, it takes listening, it takes conversation, it takes these things of building each other. You know what I'm saying? Building that relationship that you need character to do. And women without the character skills that, hold a conversation to really dig deep like that, you know what I'm saying? Or have so much baggage that they're scared to let people know who they are. You know what I'm saying? And they don't allow people to really know them, and they're hiding stuff. They're using sex to fast jump I can get in his pockets, or I can get the provision, or I can get whatever that man means to her. You understand? Just like men with money, you know what I'm saying? Like, we buy you all this stuff, right? To skip over the get to know you process, because that's when you feel you deserve a person. You know what I'm saying? When y'all form that bond, those late night conversations. I think I already said this before. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get to know, and like, oh, I deserve this, or it's not even a deserve. It's like it's a mutual care, love. I want to take care of this person. We genuinely care. You know what I mean? It takes time to build, and everybody's trying to fast track to get the resource. You know what I mean? So, like everybody said, you're trying to get something you don't deserve, and when it don't work, then you passing the blame. Just like men spending money on dates, and that kind of stuff. They don't have any personality to kind of talk to women, and oh, she got me for my money. Well, stop using money to get to know her. Like, if she don't want to get to know you, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? If she's just taking dates just because she don't, you know what I mean? Then, I mean, it's pretty clear, when somebody like you or not. So let's go with Paradise.
I hate to be the devil's advocate, but really I don't. It's kind of like my thing. First and foremost, I don't subscribe to the whole ideology that women are the gatekeepers of sex. I feel like we don't actually prioritize men's sex enough. Men's sex get everybody in trouble. It gets them in trouble. It's get other people in trouble. We actually need to start teaching our young boys to value their sex. You guys are walking around with weapons of mass destruction. As far as, oh yeah, I said that. They are. Y'all are. as far as the whole ideology, I would have to agree with Dwayne. There has to be somebody to blame, right? Like, I ain't with all this, oh, well, she putting out, there's no such thing as putting out too early. There's no such thing as putting out too late. Some women give it up on the first night, they end up married. Some women give it up 5 years down the line. He throw her away, she's trash. You just gotta find the man that works for you and the things that he is accustomed to. Also, a lot of times, I've never really seen a man, even when a woman has a trash personality, she's super toxic and she's abusive, go, man, she gives head so great. I think I'm gonna leave her alone. So even if she can't cook, he's not giving up good head. He's not giving up good box. Doesn't matter. If he hasn't gotten that type of sex, y'all will tolerate some type of trash toxicity to get what you need until it gets you over to the next point. It may not be all of you. It don't apply to all of you, but there is a good majority of men who will allocate themselves a little drama to get that satisfaction. As far as the whole thing, I just genuinely believe that there is an internalized guilt that women lack a lot of self-awareness. So when the situation comes up, regardless of if this is a whore, regardless of if this is just a good woman, it's hard to sit in self-awareness and realize, hey, I played a part in this situation. I walked into this, I chose this man. Maybe there was a red flag, maybe I did everything right, but it didn't reap me the benefit that I want. So how do I get out of this situation? I move on by making him the problem.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Jay Zilla.
Thank you, ma'am. Are any of y'all familiar with the movie Dangerous Beauty? Every now and then I like to dip back and go way back in time and see how white folks was living, right? Because I'm trying to figure out what is the scheme behind the scheme behind the scheme. But this movie is an older movie, and it is basically high class. Think about, Memoirs of a Geisha, but 15th, 16th century London. And these courtesans were just basically high class hookers. And one of the ladies of the husbands that frequented that place came in. She confronted the courtesans and was like, "Why does he keep coming to see you?" And the lady peels a banana slowly, puts it all the way down her throat, takes it out, the peel out, and swallows it. She says, "Now, if you think that's all there is to this little trick of ours, you're gravely mistaken." And then she goes to talk about the fact that she understands how to topography, she understands chemistry, she understands art, and all these things because of this misnomer that men are just these sexual, physical beings. She literally was teaching this lady how to keep your husband at home. It's not just make the house pretty, cook, and then have sex whenever I want to. I want a type of experience. I want to be stimulated in a myriad of different ways. That to me is one of the biggest problems. Is women believe men are just these physical creatures. So I'm going back to what I said in one of the first episodes I was on here, Humble, which is I think we need a ceasefire between these single men and women, right? Husbands, you're supposed to be with your wife. You shouldn't even be, you shouldn't be even out here like that, right? Same with wives. But for these single men and these single women, can we just have a ceasefire and at least agree on, let's figure out some sort of peaceful resolution to this. Let's figure out some rules of engagement that we can at least universally adhere to. All right. The problem is with the cheating thing is, men cheat, just get used to it. It's yeah, but if you came into this contractual thing and said that you were not going to and then did, you wouldn't take that in the basketball game. If y'all playing shooting hoops and you snuck a 6th person off the bench and made it 6-on-5, y'all would lose your daggone minds. So I don't understand all this stuff that gets kind of hurled around, but I don't know. That's me. I just know it looks bleak out there, and I'm glad I'm not having to worry about all these things. I feel for y'all. Let's go with the common sense couple.
I guess in a situation where a woman would blame a man after having sex with him is because she feels devalued. Um, so I mean, like what everybody pretty much said, everybody, you know, everybody had valid points. I guess just she didn't get what she wanted, you know. So if that's all that she had to offer, or that's what she led with, you know, that's what she got in return. It wasn't, you know, it didn't lead to anything else. So just having something else to offer will likely yield different results.
Yeah. I would say that if you go into that situation and we both know it's been on the table, hey, this is just this, it's casual, this is it, but you can't stick to that. You can't stick to us just kicking it casually, not even outside folks, but me and you, but it's nothing moving forward. We just having sex, kicking it, whatever. There's no attachment. There's no reason to be exclusive. So yeah, then after that doesn't work. You know, that emotional attachment kicks in, like Jamie said, then you have to blame somebody. You have to.
That's what's up. Anybody have something to add, take away, wanted to respond? That's that think time right there.
Man, I'll jump in here, Mr. Humble.
Yeah. Why you call me? Because I'm not.
I felt like it. It felt funny to me at the time. It didn't sound as funny out loud, but just flow with it. All right. Oh no, one of these. So, why do women put out and then blame men? We do on our other show this sort of connect the dots backwards sort of thing, right? You can say that, you know, well, why are you over here as a father yelling at your kids? Well, let's take it one step before. What happened? Oh, I stepped on the Lego. Okay, one step before that, somebody put the dadgum Lego where it wasn't supposed to be. And you can go on and on and on, all the way back to slavery and the Garden of Eden, right? So for me, is kind of taken away or taken out from the Bible, right? Remove that, as one pastor put it, remove the telephone pole out of your eye before moving the toothpick out of someone else's, right? So my ideal is, if I'm the leader, I'm the man, and I kind of set the pace for the household and everything. Like we talked about before, attitude reflects leadership, right? So if she's acting some type of way, I can't really control her and her reaction. I can, however, look at my actions and see what possibly led to this. And if I possibly did something to cause this. Because I, was just talking to a friend, and he had a situation where he just couldn't understand this old crazy girl, right? I told her over and over and over that we're not together. We're not together. We're just hooking up. We're just doing the thing, right? And so I asked him to tell me a little bit about the situation. And he's bringing her around his kids, his grandmama, sister, right? His brothers, they're hanging out at basketball games, they're doing all this stuff. Like, what do you mean? Like, literally what society says are some of the clues, ladies, that he may actually be into you. Does he take you around his people? Right? Does he take you out? And is he okay with being seen in public with you? So he was doing all these things that says, I'm getting ready to propose to you. And then she comes home and finds a dadgum condom in the trash can. And you wonder why she's crazy. So, and you can flip that. Like, genders in this case doesn't really matter to me, but I always think it's interesting to kind of just look back a little bit over what led to this moment, instead of just being in the moment like, here goes another crazy chick. Because if you got a bunch of crazy chicks on your hand, like, the common denominator is you.
I'll also add that I think a lot of times in today's podcast realm conversations, we found so many misnomers in order to say, well, women have the onus in these situations. And I agree with majority of them. But I also want us to stop acting like all of these men are having sex and talking about how they get so many women, and they're the men that the women are having the experiences with to run the game. I really want us to stop pretending like the name of the game ain't conversation, and that there are some men who have a certain type of privilege with them, whether it's they got BD or whether it's they literally just are attractive and they use their looks to get by. Some of them have that particular thing that they can make and it works for them. And they will pretend like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. And they will make certain women live in a land of confusion. To acknowledge women have an emotional imbalance and then play on it and pretend like you have no responsibility in the particular situation, you're just as wrong. You're just as wrong. Doesn't matter what she's accepted, don't matter what she put up with.
That's because we expect y'all to be adults as well. Like, good Lord, like y'all don't have your own common sense. We expect y'all to be adults, just like we're so expected to be adults, right? How you expect us to take responsibility because we're being manipulative? Like, can't you? Don't you got your own women's intuition to understand you're being manipulated? Right? If it was a woman that got us for money, you shouldn't have let her get you. That's what you get, right?
I don't play them games. I don't play the
We're
women
not talking
do
about
this.
you. It's never nobody on the panel.
What I'm saying is, I don't play women do this, so it should be cool that men do this, or vice versa. I take everybody. So I'm saying this because I want you to understand who you're talking to. I take everybody for the actions that they present. So when you're saying, oh, I expect you to be an adult, expecting me to be an adult is not the way that you get to decipher how I respond to a situation you put me in. Just because you expected me to be an adult, me being an adult was showing up in this situation, having a relationship with you, and the way I handled that relationship after I felt misguided, confused, or disrespected is not up to your discernment. That's not up to your judgment. So just because you walked into a situation with your intentions and they didn't align with my intentions and I played your game for whatever reason, don't mean when you see me playing your game and you knew it was headed down the wrong path, you should have kept playing too. I don't care what the situation is. You got two adults in the situation. Both of y'all are equally as wrong. But all this women control sex and she laid down and she chose him and she chose to go through that. Okay, acknowledge. But at the same time, if you're calling yourself a man and you're saying you're the leader and you're saying you control this dynamic and you're not going to let things get out of hand, you own just as much responsibility.
Look, wolves are wolves. You know what I'm saying? And one wolf is not going to control another wolf. So y'all complaining about the wrong wolf. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. We can't control other men. So stop picking wolves and pick a shepherd dog instead of a wolf. You know what I'm saying? How about that?
And I think that you should stop trying to move the goalpost to fit.
I'm not moving anything.
Because even with the art of manipulation, all manipulation is one person's just more intelligent than the other. And it doesn't necessarily mean something is bad, because when Lost in Translation said women use their words in order to soothe men to get what they want, that is manipulation. If I'm telling you in a soft, docile, submissive, feminine tone, hey, I love when you take out the trash, baby. You look so good with your shirt off when you out there mowing that grass. Let me go ahead and get you a nice cold cup of homemade lemonade. I'm still manipulating you. It just strokes your fucking ego.
I agree.
And I got some lemonade too.
Yeah,
so that helps.
Let me try it on
at least I'm not dehydrated and I can continue the job. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it. Either way it go, we're gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get her done.
That's what's up.
I think y'all laid out the stark contrast between manipulation and love, and some people confuse the two. One's doing it for one's interest and one's doing it for somebody else's interest. It's whose interest are you going at it for? Are you manipulating the person? Well, when you do it, you're doing it for your benefit. When you're loving a person, you're loving them for their benefit, right? So now, earlier, Paradise, whenever you were speaking, I was like, I don't want to sound like this, but women do that too, and it was Lost in Translation that put it to the point where it's like he's pointing out manipulation. That's a weapon. That's a weapon, right? And the way Lost built it up, he said he used a tool. A hammer can be used as a weapon, but that's not its purpose, right? So in it, that just like what you lowering their voice, getting into that femininity, right? Now you're using it in a malicious way in order to manipulate to get what you want, right? That should be a normal state. And the same way for the dude, right? So the dude is supposed to be acting within inside a certain sphere as well. So whenever you get him, let's say you tug on his chain, right, and he bite, he's acting out of alignment, and that's what you're talking about. When both of us start acting out of alignment. But the question is now, why is it that we act out of alignment? So and that's the learning piece that I want to point out, because it's what is your motive? What is it that you're trying to get out of the situation? So in it, if I get out of line, the Bible says, be angry, right? But that goes in the tone, right? I didn't like his tone. I didn't like he raised his voice. But that's us, right? Whenever y'all get to crying and stuff, we don't be like, oh man, cut that out. There you go again. We can't do that. In the same instance, whenever we get to raising our voice, whenever we start getting to be masculine, that's looked as a bad thing. But the Bible says, be angry. Now, the question is, how are we sinning against one another? That's whenever I really believe that we really dice into the problem. It's like, hey, like, how have I sinned against you? And in that's where I'm like, that's where the meat and the potatoes is for me. Like, feelings, yeah, they're important. Logic, yeah, that's important. But it's like, how are we sinning against each other? My 2 cents.
It's a heavyweight type of conversation. I enjoy listening to y'all for real, you know. Such a phenomenal panel. I got y'all got time for one more?
Yeah, man.
discussion?
We got time.
Okay.
I'm gonna ride out. I'm practicing Ramadan and I gotta be up at 4.
Oh, no worries. I appreciate you chiming in.
Y'all have a good evening. It was my pleasure.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your perspective.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hey, so the last conversation that we're gonna have is, as you can see, what I'm trying to do is make sure that it's balanced, because we have some haters out there that don't think Humble Dad gives perspective from both ends, and that's okay. But I want to be able to balance the show, but also get to my main point. And my main point is always making sure that people know my end goal is to have really good marriages, right?
Correct.
And so sometimes we will talk about things that don't necessarily relate to the topic, but in hindsight, it will, right? Like the last topic that we talked about is important because we're right now, like Jay Zilla said, we're in a space where there needs to probably be people saying, hey, let's call a truce. But Jay Zilla, you wasn't around for when we had the conversation about who needs to surrender first. We had that conversation maybe a year ago. I don't know, something like that, right? And what's going on is that both people believe that they're in the right. And because both people believe that they're in the right, they're not willing to do what it takes to change. And my perspective is that because men are, we'll look at it, let's say that women are right, that there are no good men out here, right? Well, if you change your disposition, the man has no choice but to change. And what I mean by that is, because of the dad that wasn't there, he's not there no more. Bad dude, right? Horrible dude. You gave your goodies to the wrong dude. And now, as a single mother, you have raised a boy, not a man. And so, what we see right now in the pool, if you will, is a lot of dudes that don't know how to be men. And so, because men don't know how, these males don't know how to be men. Now we got to tell the women, listen, because of what your mothers did, you got to hold firm in knowing that your leverage is your box. That's why you can't blame the man for doing what is natural to him. A man that is a godly man is literally fighting against his urge on a regular basis, because we are attracted to a lot of us are attracted to women. We're attracted to what it is that we see. Okay. So I want to be able to help men and women, and we're going to end it on this question. How can women spot a man among boys? How can women spot a man among boys? Is that okay question? All right, cool. Anybody want to go first? On you.
I come out the ropes again. Get that lust out your eye. Get that lust out your eye. Like I think, and this is something I was thinking about earlier while I was driving today, is that when we're out here, we trying to date these people. We ain't dating who they are, what we got in front of. We dating that image in our head, and we want them to live up to it. So we're not looking at that person and letting them, be them. We're trying to make them form to the idea that we have and what we think they should be doing. But that's not how they was raised. They didn't have their daddy or a rocky relationship with their mom, dad, however the case may be. And I think that when we go out here, we're not looking for that. We're just trying to do what society say, which is stop being manless by a certain age because we're about to hit the wall. Or you done had all these kids, you're gonna have to wait. You got all these rules on the games to get attached to you. But for me, I just think that you gotta get that lust out your eye. Because first you gotta stop operating out of place of loneliness and really look at what you're dealing with. Because I watch a lot of crime TV, and it's like if these women just would take about 2 seconds to realize that the dude wasn't loving her. He was just manipulating, reeling her in slowly, and for surely, into where she didn't believe in herself, wore down her self-esteem. And then they always like, I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't want to see it. You gotta come to the realization that person ain't who you thought they was. You gotta stop allowing them to manipulate you and then allowing yourself to continue to get manipulated. Like you got to open your eyes and see who that is. I mean, we all done got manipulated before. I know I did. Hey, that's why I'm in the situation I'm in now. But hey, beware. Dog eat dog world. Everybody get bit. You just how you gonna move from that bite. You gonna study get bite, or you gonna stop and carry a stick and swing a couple times to get the dog away from you. What you gonna do?
Anybody got next with a good perspective? See, this is exactly why I ask people to call up.
You know what I'm with that. I'll go. How can women spot a man amongst boys? First, they need to correct their own vision. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for you to understand or appreciate a man if you don't have a blueprint to know where to get that man from or what he looks like. Because think about it, all men and boys have the same standard issue equipment. It's what you do with it that makes the difference. How well does he think? You know what I mean? Does he take care of himself? Does he lead? Does he think about other people? You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that make men stand out amongst boys. Now, here's the thing. Like Ashley said, if you have your own personal, wish list that you're trying to fulfill without looking to serve that particular man who's going to serve you, then of course you're going to go Christmas shopping in the wrong aisle. You know what I'm saying? You're going to find yourself in the garden section when you should have been over in the Christmas section getting decoration. It doesn't work that way. You see what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, when women select the men, they select the men from a point of selfishness. And it's that selfishness that makes her manipulate herself. You see what I'm saying? There's an old saying that says the dream sells itself. All you got to do is keep your mouth shut. You see what I'm saying? Most women manipulate themselves. And that's the reason why they'll say, I like a strong, silent type man, because they don't want him to mess up the dream. You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing. Let me take care of that. But my thing is this, they're going to have to make sure that they remove the selfishness from themselves before they can even start looking for a man or a boy. Men stand out amongst boys anytime. Those are the ones who lead. Those are the ones who take care of other people. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to you to look past that selfishness that you're looking to feel, because the men do the same thing as boys do initially, but over time it's what reveals itself. And I think what happens is most women like to fulfill that particular fantasy first. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that they get what they want to get out of the situation first before they actually have the end goal in mind. That's why you always want to start with the end in mind. When people ask me, what type of wife you looking for? I'm looking for somebody my kids can be proud to call mom. And I work my way backwards that way. You see what I'm saying? Because anybody could look good, But I just need to know if you're going to be good. And for me to do that, I have to close my eyes and listen. And I'm asking women to do the same thing. Close your eyes and listen. And then you'll discover the difference between men and boys if you use your ears instead of your eyes.
That's what's up.
I'm not as long-winded as Lost. I'm gonna keep it simple. You know, and that man's a poet. He's a poet. You know what I mean? But no, simply, integrity and discipline. You know, you want to find your man. It's the man with integrity. It's the man with discipline. Other than that, they don't got them two things. It don't matter how much money they got, whatever. Integrity and discipline will have you picking the right man every time. So I'll just speak it like that.
That's what's up. Who got next?
Oh, okay.
I would say, go ahead, Jay Z.
No, man. So for me, again, you know, that feeling almost bad about being a Christian because it just seems to be so clearly laid out, right? How can you tell? Like, what does the Bible say about a good man? For everybody else, what does the Bible say about a good woman? And then what about all those examples of the people who are the women in the Bible who aren't behaving in an honorable way, and the men in the Bible who aren't behaving in an honorable way? So for me, it's very clear cut. But for people outside of that religion, you can still look at the Bible for wisdom. Those things that it talks about, the fruit of the Spirit, and being able to tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. I was just talking to someone about the significance of the fig tree being used in an example where Christ looks far off, he sees a fig tree, he's like, oh, okay, let's go get something to eat, because he can see the leaves. He gets up there and it's bared no fruit. Well, the properties of a fig tree, they rarely show their leaves without also producing fruit. So this was a strange thing to actually happen. And so when Christ cursed the tree, he also goes to, Israel looks at the temple, and it's the same thing. From far off, it looks like a holy place. And it gets closer only to realize, oh wow, this is some hot garbage. And he's whipping people out and flipping tables. So how can you tell? You look and see if they're patient with not just you, but with others. Look to see if they're kind, if they're trying to season their words with soft, being gentle with you as a woman, right? Keep being a man of their word. There's a whole slew of things you can look at. I mean, in a nutshell, love. That's why I was asking in the back chat, what type of love are we talking about? Because the universal love is a stranger on the street and I can cross paths and not go to war somehow, right? There's some sort of unwritten rule of, okay, you stay on that side of the road and I stay on this side of the road and we pass each other peacefully. So I just think that we need to kind of expand what we're looking for, what we as a society is willing to deal with and not, and then stick to that. Problem is we have some people who are presenting themselves as fig trees in the church, but upon further review and closer review, it proved that they're actually not like that at all.
That's what's up. On you, Anthony.
I would say, I had this quote. I said, the value of a man is measured by what his time is spent on. So when you're able to spot what is he doing, what are his actions, where's the majority of his time spent? Is it on bullshit or is it on something solid? So therefore, this is a good dude. He's holding down his himself. Basically, he's living out here. He's moving. He has these certain manly qualities. Versus, oh, I see him every time I see him. He in the club. Well, why are you in the club? You in the lounge too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like Lost was saying, you need to look different places for the type of man that you want, and where is his time spent. That's where I would say.
That's good. Alicia.
That's what I was gonna say. How he spends his time and what he values. A man would be spending their time basically moving forward or future focused, doing things that are going to put him and his loved ones in a position, in a better position, a growing position. I think men are the ones, somebody brought it up earlier, don't always have to act on sex when they meet a woman. They love sex, but that's not priority for them all the time versus a boy. Yeah, you that's off top. That's what they pretty much looking for. But I think a man can kind of discern, even if they're able to turn it down if they foresee a situation of this is going to be a problem, or this ain't, this isn't where it is. So a man is able to do those things, make better decisions. I would say their decision making.
That's what's up. I think Jamie, did you go?
I don't have any input, to be honest. I think everybody gave answers that seem really good, but the reality of it is how long do you sit and watch somebody's fruit? I've seen people, give good fruit for a whole year, sometimes 2 years, and then you meet the real person, right? And so if you're out here and you meet somebody and they do all of the things, they're a leader, they are okay for others and all of that stuff, and then they still end up being a not good person, then what, right? Then everything that everybody said on this panel is now debunked. And so it's not. Why not prototype? Why isn't it debunked?
Because if somebody shows you, if somebody shows you that, right? And like, for instance, if a guy is putting his best foot forward for a woman, right? And he gets what he's doing it for a reason, right? Let's say he's only doing it to get the box, and he gets that box. If that's all she has to offer, he's not going to keep it up. It's just like getting a job. You get a job, and they promise you all these things. Hey, we'll get you in a management role. We'll do this. We'll do that. Well, after that time, I'm about to just show you my ass because you're not producing on your side. I'm over here giving you my best effort, and then all I'm getting is a smile and hey, nice, thank you, or I got your box, and now you have nothing else to offer. You don't have.
But what if it's not like that? And there's because I've had instances where I know people where it's not like that. The person was doing their part and they were doing their part, right? And even the person said that, and the person still ended up being somebody different. So there's people out here, and I don't know how long it's been since anybody's like dated, or because I don't know anybody's situation, but people out here are able to lie for long periods of time. And so, like I said, on here, is everybody's answer is a good, gauge. But again, what I'm saying, in the long run, we don't know how deceitful people's heart are, right? We just never really know. Just being honest.
Able to lie forever doesn't matter. If I met you and I turned into a good dude, and I'm not truly a good dude, but I was a good dude because I met you and I valued you for forever, doesn't matter.
I guess not. I don't know. Like, that is a weird question, because then you said if I'm lying, right?
Because you're saying a person can change after a year or so, right? If I show you I'm capable of being a certain way for you for a year, for 2 years, there's a reason I'm stopping, right? It's either I don't value this anymore. There's a reason I'm not continuing this behavior. But if I'm a bad person inside and I choose to lie forever, right? Like Christians, we are who we are. But when we become saved, we fight to be something, to be Christ-like. It's a lifelong journey, right? Genuinely, if we was gambling, like to go to strip clubs, did everything, fornication, blah, 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 our entire life, then got saved. We are now denying our flesh after we got saved for a lifetime.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter, right? If I showed you my butt after a year or two, it's because I no longer found this valuable to keep this behavior going. Because who I really am, because how many times have you heard, yeah, don't let me go back to my old self. Let me pull up my old self. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a common thing people say, because that's in a person. But I am withholding from being that terrible person I once was, because this new life is more important for me.
Okay.
So if that woman is not upholding or not bringing the same value because I'm putting in all this effort to be this and to be that and to make sure I am the man that I gotta be to please the situation and have a family, and you're just giving me butt. That's all you got for me. That's like, it's like, what?
Well, you keep saying that. So let's say that it's not just giving them butt, like, because you can't just do that. That's not.
Or whatever,
That's not
whatever
so
she's
what?
dropping the ball at. She must be dropping the ball at something because there's a reason why this person is not valuing this to keep that behavior going.
So when you decide to sin, you're saying that Jesus is dropping the ball, and so because Jesus is dropping the ball, you decide to yield to your flesh. That's not right. That's
It's
don't
because
know.
I no
Sometimes somebody
longer.
doesn't have to drop.
I'm not saying.
No.
I'm not saying that Jesus is dropping the ball, but maybe the church. Maybe I've seen some things in the church. All the pastors sleeping with the congregation, and you know what I'm saying there could be a multitude of things that make a person waver. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Well, then what you're saying is that you're not fully surrendered to the process of the situation where the person is contingent, because I mean, you can't continuously want to serve God. That's a choice that you make every day because you know that He is the Alpha and the Omega, and He could, I mean, if He wanted to do this to you, right? But why would you? What's up, Lost? I see you shaking your head. But I'm just saying, like, it's a choice to serve God every day. It's a choice to pick up your cross daily and do that and surrender to Him. But to say a woman is dropping the ball and that's why somebody decides to stop being good, that's not fair either. Maybe somebody was pretending.
It's very fair because it's a matter of if I'm treating you a certain way in hopes of, you know, getting a woman thinking you're a woman of this or that, or I have to unlock some trust, or I have to lock these things from you as a woman. I'm thinking on the other side, I'm getting a good woman. And if you never show me that good woman after all this work I've put in, well, I quit. Now I'm here just to be here. Now I'm giving you the bare minimum because you're not holding up your end of the deal. What I expect of as a wife, as a partner, or whatever. A lot of men we suffer in silence. That's how a lot of men get married, thinking like, oh, now that I marry her, she's going to be this way. She's going to be a wife. I'm gonna be a husband, but then like, dang, she ain't doing this. She's not changing. She's not upholding her part of the deal. You know what? I'm gonna go to work, sit on the couch, and be mute.
Don't that work? Jamie, doesn't that work the other way? Isn't that the reason why women are leaving? Because they're now unhappy. Like the man is not fulfilling what he said he was going to be doing. Isn't that why women break up with dudes?
Right, because they didn't sign up for what. So, I mean, like I don't know. I don't know what reason they give, but usually to me, what I've heard from like my clients too is because they're cheating. So I'm not quite sure that wasn't what they signed up for, was to be cheated on.
So every woman.
The way I'm looking at that.
So let me get this right. So the 10 women that you I don't know how many, but I'm just giving a number. So out of the 10 women, you're saying the reason why they left was because the guy cheated.
Lies and cheating. So it's either they lie too much, right? But and listening earlier, it seems like if a man feels shamed, maybe that's where the lies may come in to kind of be done with the conversation, is what I was trying to rationalize in my head. But I don't know. I didn't get to ask that question while you were talking about that earlier. But then cheating, like, you know, there's a lot of people there's a lot of men, whether they've been raised by a man in the house or not in the house, that sleep with multiple women, but have one main one. That is, I mean,
that's interesting because the information that's out there is that like men and women cheat at this pretty much the same clip. That's about 30%. So if you're telling me that you spoke to 10 women and 8 of them are saying, or 9 of them are saying that the man cheated, somebody's lying. Because it's impossible for you to get a study, for you to have so many women and your study doesn't line up with the actual study. So what I'm saying to you is that they're lying about something. So
I guess my question is, where does this study come from? I mean, like, where do these statistics literally come from? Because if you even go, like, if you go in different groups or regular social media, like just all of these things.
Jamie, it doesn't matter. People try to do that to dismiss the information. Okay, I could do the same thing. I could dismiss your information, but I'm not doing that, right? I'm saying based on the study, you can go CDC. Okay, you can go Black demographics. You can go find a study and you can click on right now. You can literally say what's the percentage of people that get that men and women are cheating, and it will not say 90%. It will not say 80%. What I'm saying to you is that the women that you're talking to are lying to you, okay? Because in order to make sure that they're being honest, that man would need to be there, okay? And I'm saying to you that what Prototype was trying to communicate is that a man, a honorable man, cannot keep up integrity if he doesn't have integrity. And the other thing is, if you're dealing with a dude that's not in the church in some regard, and he's talking to you about who God is to him, and his faith is, especially if you're saying you're a Christian, there's no way that he should even be entering into a conversation with you after the first or second conversation. If it's not about Christ, then why are these women allowing dudes to even be in their vicinity if that's what they're saying that they want?
But
So
are we talking about women that are in the church only, or are we talking about the general consensus? And that's where this gets confusing, because we're putting attributes on people that don't even know Christ. How can you put an attribute on somebody that doesn't even know Christ? I guess that's my question.
I tell you, and let me break it down to you. The majority of Black women will say that they're Christian. And if I had to get a percentage on it,
But we know that's not true.
Doesn't matter. We're talking about what they say. Okay. So if they're saying that they're a Christian, then why would they operate with a dude that says that he's not even living that lifestyle? We're going based on what she is saying. It will be no different than me talking to a dude and I'm talking to him about he's a godly man. He's saying, I want a godly woman, but he trying to find a woman in the club. It's the same thing. We can't, this is the issue that I be having with a lot of women, is that they don't want to see their error in the scenario of why they can't find a good dude. It's because you're giving trash dudes the opportunity to be around you. That's what's going on. And so I'm saying, and because my question was really a positive question, which was to tell women how they can find a man among boys, because women are saying that they're having a hard time finding it. And so that's why I posed the question.
No, it's a good question. I'm just saying that in the era that we're in, what you guys gave as key points to do, I've seen those type of men. I'm just saying I've seen those type of men, and sometimes they are able to play a role. I'm just saying, even in the church, like, so when you say go find a man in the church, some men are not changed. There's a lot of people, right, that are in the church that have not received the Holy Spirit, that have not received deliverance, and then that are really there as wolves, right? As somebody said something about wolves. And so my question is, okay, fine, you gave us this list of things, but how long should somebody watch somebody's fruit then to really discern if that person is doing that?
Let me answer that question. I got you, Lost. And then, I got Dwayne, then Lost, because this is very important to me. Okay. How long should they wait? A woman should already have her own timeline, in my estimation. Right? So if the woman is willing to give up a year of her time, this guy is not able to play listen, if the guy has not said he wants to marry you or talked about marriage within the year, he don't look at you like that. He doesn't see you like that. But women are wanting to make it to where the guy is wanting to marry her. And like I said before, I didn't finish that thought, but this is what I said before. Stop giving up the box. Stop being so concerned that the guy will not be with you because you didn't give him sex. That's your leverage. Because there's something that men are talking about. They call it nut clarity. Y'all dudes with me? Right? Where the man sleeps with you and now he has a realization that, man, I should have saved that. I should have saved that nut, man, because she wouldn't even work that. So now he sees you totally different. Okay? So I am giving you game. And women be like, but man, why can't the man hold out? Because that ain't how we built. That even as a godly man, that's a hard thing. I'm saying you have control. I wish Paradise was back on. Y'all have control over who has sex and who is brought into this world. That's your responsibility. So
Okay, so basically, so I want to make sure that we give it a clear. If somebody is doing that, talking to somebody, really they shouldn't have sex until they're married, right? Is that what we're saying?
yep.
Okay.
That's the
All right,
that's
cool. That's it. I mean, that's perfect. I just want to make sure, just to be clear, that's what we're basically saying, because if you wait a long period of time, wait a year, you don't get married, he does talk about marriage to you, and then you have sex with him, he could still change his mind prior to the ring, right? So they would need to wait to have sex until they're married.
Yes, that's how it was
That's it.
designed.
Okay, good. All right, that's it.
Go ahead,
I'm
Dwayne.
gonna say before Dwayne jumps in there.
No.
I have a question. Come on. Okay.
Dwayne, I've been talking for a long time.
You know, Jay Zilla like to turn in the moderator, man.
He does. I'm gonna get Dwayne. I apologize. Well, no, I don't. It's my show, right? Dwayne, and then Lost. You know, shorten it down if we could, so people can get out of here if we need to, and then Jay Zilla.
I felt a little bit of toxic masculinity there. Humble Dad. I had a moment. No, let me stop playing. So, HD, I like that you said women are not necessarily to blame, but they have a role to play in allowing trash men into their lives, or trash boys. Then I got to thinking, because that was what my answer was going to be, is how can women spot a man amongst boys? Well, it's going from experience. It's what you're exposed to. So the first one is the dad, their dad, right? That's one thing that they don't have control of when they have trash dads, right? So then, as for men, we are supposed to be the ones being able to then set the tone, and also then give the advice, the insight on what to look for, right? And so they not innately will look for a man that's like their dad. So if there's a whole bunch of trash men roaming around here, what do we expect then, right? And yes, there are the situations and circumstances whenever you learn from seeing bad examples, but that's not the majority that learn from seeing bad examples. They're just going to repeat what they saw rather than saying, I don't want to repeat what I saw. So I look at it from that standpoint. Like if these women, or if these young girls have trash dads, they're going to be in turn, they're going to be roaming around looking for trash men.
Jamie, I'm gonna set you free, darling, and a lot of women free with this message right here. The reason why a lot of women fail at relationships is because they're expecting perfection from men, and there are no guarantees in life. Get over it. Life will happen. You will get sick. You will get old. There will be days where you have more money than others. You see what I'm saying? The problem is y'all like to hold men to an unattainable standard. But at the same time, when we ask you guys to do the same thing, you falter. You want men to be consistent, but women are some of the most inconsistent creatures on the earth. You can't even make up your mind with what you want to eat from time to time. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this: in order for you to make sure that you find somebody that's going to be the right person, you got to start with yourself first. You see what I'm saying? And how you do that is you have to practice grace and mercy for other people's inadequacies, just like most men do. Most men will sit up here and we'll listen to you gripe and complain. But at the end of the day, we already know that you're not perfect. So that grace slides into the mortars of those bricks of the relationship. And the problem is women like to get guarantees, and they want to know, I'll give you an example. They want to know, how much money does a man make? Can he sustain a family? You know, all of this type of stuff. Men don't ask women stuff like that. Normally they'll say stuff like, hey, you know, how many kids do you have? That type of thing, because they're looking for any type of breakdown that may collapse the relationship, you know? And they want to know. And here's the thing that I noticed too. A lot of men like to talk about women's body count, but they don't go into the deep depths of why. They just don't like the fact that a whole bunch of men slept with their women. No, that's not it at all. What happens is the reason why they want to know you haven't slept with a bunch of men is because sometimes your vision of what a man looks like and what he provides is clouded by your previous experiences that were negative. I'll give you an example. The other day, we were actually on Black Men Unfiltered podcast, and he had Charleston White play a clip, and the women heard him say one thing, and the men heard him say another, but it was clouded by our vision and our experiences. You see what I'm saying? The men heard what he said crystal clear, but the women said, no, what you're saying is that you should let men just use you. It was like, no, that's not what he said. What Charleston White said was that he learns love from his mother and all the stuff that she had to go through. You see what I'm saying? So it was in that instance, that's the real reason why men don't like women who've had a lot of bad experiences, because they're going to hold you to a standard that you didn't create. You see what I'm saying? So that's the main reason why people like Humble Dad say, make sure that you protect your box. In other words, guard your heart. You know what I'm saying? Even the Bible tells you to guard your heart above all else. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I question a lot of women who say that they're Christian, because I am. And I know I know how you're supposed to move. But if you let anybody into your heart and you don't guard your heart, I know you're not studying. I know you're not listening to God. I know you're not following him, because you're not moving like he asked you to move. You see what I'm saying? So that's the main reason why a lot of guys who are in the church know how to spot counterfeits, because you do not practice what you preach. And that's the reason why you can't find good men, because they see you coming before you get there and they disappear, because they already know that you don't qualify because you haven't done the work. Men know when you have not done the work. I assure you that. What they call it, Dwayne, the fruits of the spirit. Is that correct? It'll show up. You know what I'm saying? We know this innately. You cannot fool somebody who has a relationship with God. You can't fool them, because they understand exactly who they are in their relationship with God. And anybody who moves outside of that is going to be a hindrance. There's all type of verses in there that say it's better for a man to live on the corner of a shack of a roof than to live with a quarrelsome woman. If all you have to say is all your bad experiences, that's a precursor to somebody who's going to be quarrelsome. We avoid that like the plague. We know better. So my question is this: in order for you to find a good man, you have to practice what you preach. It has to come out of you innately. It has to be. You cannot have any shortcuts. You cannot. That'll be the same way as if you say, I want a man that's fit, but you don't ever go to the gym. You don't. That's where they at. You know what I'm saying? All the fit men are at the gym. But if you don't ever go to the gym and you don't ever work out and put yourself in that vicinity, you're not going to get a fit man. It's the same way to say, for instance, if you go to church, you say you want a godly man, but you don't never go to church. Or if you're there, you don't listen. What's the point? You see what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. I'm going to keep this short. Now, I'm going to give you the Baptist version. But at the end of the day, you have to clean out what's inside of you first to clear up your vision so you'll be able to spot the man that you need. And there are no guarantees in life. Please believe that.
Jay Zilla on you. And Jamie, you can, if you have something to say, you can have the last word.
Yeah. My quick question is for like Prototype and Lost, and even
so you don't really have nothing to add. You just want to ask a question.
I do. I just want to clarify something before. I don't like making assumptions, Humble.
I know where. Let's get it.
The Humble Dad with 1,000+ subscribers. Yeah. So with me,
congratulations, sir. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah. I'm really curious as to when y'all use these terms like some men are this and women are this. Are you saying all women, or is that just a short term?
This is Jay Zilla. I don't play the all women game, man. You know who you are. You know who you answer to. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down. Because if we get bogged down into the whole not all women, not all this. If the shoe fit, wear it. Basically, that's all we're gonna say. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're doing. You know, we're not gonna play the game with not all women. We're not gonna do that.
Right, but I'm asking you. This is for you to be the author of. When you say women are like this, I'm asking you: are you saying all women?
Why would I say that? The shoe fits. You know who you are. That's
Gotcha.
all I'm saying. You know who you are.
So with me in this question, I think what Jamie was getting at is the mark of a narcissist. And here's the thing about narcissism. They will play you for as long as you allow them to. That's why I was asking in the back chat, Jamie, whether or not there was no red flags at all. Like 1 year, 2 year went by and nothing, and then there was a flip. Right? Like, so for me, I mean, back in the day, it's a little harder to do this now, but back in the day, men had whole second families for decades. And it was nothing on that woman, either of the women, who thought they were married to one guy. And there are so many.
The Tyler Perry story?
Say again?
You know the Tyler Perry story?
No. Well, which one?
Go look it up, my guy. And get that narcissist stuff out of here, man. 5% of people are narcissists. Come on,
6%.
Come on, man.
Oh, it went up?
I'm literally asking, is this the type of person that Jamie is talking about? So I'm not saying it as if.
Why are we talking about such a minuscule number, though?
He's not. He's asking, is Jamie referring to the narcissist?
Right.
Because the narcissist doesn't care about what goes on. That's what he's trying to get clarification from Jamie.
Right.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like
yes, more so sociopaths, those people.
Even rarer then. Okay. So yeah, so with that,
No, not necessarily. If you go by the definition of a sociopath, it's a person that seeks out pleasure for their selfish gain. And so that's the basic definition of a sociopath. So if somebody has multiple sex partners or just one night stands on a consistent basis, that is building and creating a narcissistic or sociopathic mindset over time. You desensitize yourself. And so if we give the true basic definition of that, and you, I guess, look it up, and you can look it up and see the basic definition. Our society is creating those type of people because we are saying that it is okay to lay down and sleep with whomever, whenever we feel like it, because that's what we're feeling. That's why I said sometimes it's kind of hard to have these conversations, because are we talking to saved people? Or are we talking to unsaved people? And then sometimes saved people are doing the same thing in the church. They just laying down with whoever, whenever, whatever feels good to them at the moment. But by doing that, that's why they say the worst sin to do is that of having sex premaritally or just laying down with somebody, because you are combining with that person and therefore you're taking on things from that person. So if you're doing that with multiple people, you do become a little bit what you would call crazy, right? Spiritually crazy, spiritually dead. And so, yes, I would be talking about those people, but I will say that we have a lot more of those people than is documented, because our society is allowing the formation of that by saying it's okay to have multiple sexual partners. Just FYI. So just sorry, I'm done, but I answered your question.
When I said even rare, a narcissistic sociopathic person is even rarer than a person who is just one or the other. But Prototype, why I asked that question with you and Lost was literally to say that if a woman is not holding up her end of the bargain, then the man just starts acting any kind of way to kind of, I don't know, is that to kind of push her out?
No, that's not a fair statement. I'm explaining to you why.
No, it's a question, the Prototype. I'm asking, is that, and he's saying yes and you're saying no. So I'm gonna sit back and just listen.
I would say yes. That's because men generally don't lead. We just start acting a fool. So you could be like, oh, because I think men are generally okay with saying I'm the bad guy, right? So we'll accept that to save her face of, oh, he did me wrong, blah blah blah, because it's commonly accepted that men are the abusers in relationships, right? But a woman that's labeled as bad, oh, she's scarred forever. So
that's interesting. So what you're saying is,
listen. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold that thought, right? Email me or something, or put it in the IG as far as this conversation, because it's a good conversation, right? But I value people's time. Y'all know that, okay? And so I want to be able to not be like the Pentecostal church. Shout out to the Pentecostal churches, right? I want to say I started early so that we can leave early. You feel me?
And you see what happened, though.
That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? It's been a dope conversation. Hey, we're gonna let it rest there. And make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.